Okay, so this is day 3.
Day 3.
And I got a surprise for you. We gotta take the transmission back off.
Oh, nice.
The reason for that is because, anyway, we'll look for it in a second. The actual pilot bearing that goes in the crankshaft,
Yeah.
when we were picking up yesterday, I noticed that the actual pilot bearing, the new one, was still in the box, and we didn't put it in. Also, the torque wrench that I use has a range of 20 pounds to 150 pounds torque. And some of the bolts that we need to tighten down are 19 and below.
Okay.
Because it's out now, might as well just take the transmission out, take the pressure plate off, the flywheel, do it all over again.
Okay.
But it should really only take us 30 minutes or less to do that.
Okay.
So yeah, I messed up. So we gotta fix it now. It's better than having an issue while it's in the car. So that's what we're gonna do now.
Sounds good.
All right. We got the transmission in. We had to deal with the clutch and the bearing. So the bearing, the pilot bearing is in there. It's in the crankshaft. We added some grease to the pilot bearing. We then tightened the flywheel down to spec, which is 76 pounds torque, and the pressure plate to 19 pounds of torque. Always do it in a cross motion. And we got it back in there. I mean, what we're gonna do now is lower the car and make sure that the manifold that we have is the right one so that it fits into the exhaust downpipe right within the, before the cat pack system. Make sure it bolts up properly and that it is the one that aligns to this, because I have several of them here at the shop. So we wanna make sure we have the right one so that we can put it on the engine prior to dropping the engine in, because it's just a lot easier if the exhaust manifold is already on the engine instead of having to work your way around there, because getting those bolts to tighten up while the engine is already in the vehicle, it leaves very little room, so it becomes a hassle. So
that's right.
So now, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Lower the vehicle, make sure it aligns. If it aligns, we're gonna put it onto the actual cylinder head, and then strap the engine up to the engine hoist and start dropping it in the car. So that's next. this is actually day 4. I was planning on finishing this install in 3 days, but we ran into a couple of complications. Mostly it's my fault. Some of it has to do with the parts being a little bit too old. So as I mentioned before, this engine was sitting here for about 3 to 4 years. I want to say 3 to 4 years. For the most part, it sat outside, and Florida weather and the sun just really beats up a vehicle. And I think the heat really dried out those mounts. Taking it back out is just gonna be a little bit of more work, so it's easier to just work with it while it's in there, but it would have been much easier if I would have checked the mounts initially and figured, hey, these mounts are bad, let's change them out now, and when they're out of the car, those mounts are just easier to work with. So this one right here is a transmission mount. I don't know if you can tell, it's actually a bit cracked. The rear mount that sits in the back of the engine, probably can't see it at all. That completely broke. The front mount is good. The reason that mount is good is because had power steering fluid fall on it when we initially took the engine out, so it sort of kept the mount in a condition where it wouldn't dry out. This mount here, that one also snapped completely. I have to replace 3 mounts. I have to replace the passenger side, the rear mount, and the driver's side transmission mount. And right now it's being held up by the front mount down here, and it's being held by the lower transmission mount down there and by the lower transmission bracket, which you won't be able to see. So that's what I'm working with. And a couple of other things I wanted to point out. When you're working on these vehicles and you're gonna put an engine in, especially if it has a transmission bolted to it, and that's how I dropped the engine in with the transmission attached. It is much, much easier if you take the radiator and the fans out, intake manifold, battery tray, and the fuse box. If you move those 4 items, you won't have an issue dropping it in with the transmission attached to it. I'm gonna go ahead now and address those mounts, start plugging up the harness and everything else. I don't know that I'll have time to start it up today because it's getting dark, but let's see where we can get. Yo, Mike!
Can we start now?
We're gonna start now. Well, he's gonna do all the work. I'm not gonna do anything. He's my co-worker that does all the work. I just stand around and tell you what to do. He does all the work, I take the credit. Going up. Going up. So this is what we fill up through. So this is the bolt we have to take out to drain the transmission fluid. No. This is the bolt that we use to refill. So the idea is once we take that bolt out and fill, once it starts to drip, it's roughly about 2.5 quarts. There you go. Okay, so this is the actual washer for the transmission filler bolt. It looks in pretty good condition, so we won't have to really change this out. I know it's always good to just get a new one in there, but this transmission was actually rebuilt and purchased rebuilt, so it looks okay to me. Oh, and don't forget to use manual transmission fluid by Honda. So we got everything set up. There are a few minor things we still have to do. The air box that we got for the air filter was the wrong size, probably the wrong part, period. So we still need to get that. We have a small leak on one of the heater hoses. So we'll check that afterwards. Everything else is intact. We put fuel in it, so we're about to start it up and cross our fingers. Throttle position sensor has been calibrated. Power steering fluid is in. Coolant is in. Engine oil is in. Transmission fluid is in. Spark plugs are in. Gas, well, let's see. Let's see what we got. All right, Mike. This is all a lot of hard work. If you see something weird,
Will do.
you tell me and I stop.
The key?
Yeah. Let's just close it and see if it fires up.